Hey everyone, and welcome. I'm Zach, and today we're going to be answering some of the community's questions. And before we begin, this is a new stream series we hope to run each month where we can address specific questions you may have about the game. While we may not be able to answer all of your questions, we hope to answer as many as we can. Today, you've got myself, who obviously sucks. You've seen that right off the bat. Who'll be hosting and answering questions about the community. We have Matt, our resident guild guy, for questions related to guilds, and Doug, our director of operations, here to answer game-related questions, as well as help us later as we tease some new things coming in patch 0.25. I am so excited for this, guys. I think we should jump right into the questions. We made a Twitter post where people can ask questions. We got so many great replies, and I'm excited to get answers. Even myself, I'm excited to get right into it. Okay, first question. Let's just get right into it. Will there be a reset between now and closed beta, or is the only reset for open beta?
I could jump in and answer this. This is always a tricky topic because I think the important thing for everybody who plays these types of games is to understand that we need to get this right. Once we go live with the game, there really is practically zero backtracking when it comes to trying to correct potential exploits or if anything kind of gets out from under us with regards to character progression. So that being said, one of the reasons why we do resets in general is to really hone in on what that character progression looks like. Is it advancing at the speed that we would expect? Are people having fun? Those types of things. And I think what's unfortunate, well, kind of fortunate and unfortunate, is at this stage of the game, resets are in early access, even in beta, perhaps. Resets can be necessary. And so it's one of those things that we take very seriously. We want to do as infrequently as possible. And something that we've talked about internally is, I think all of us would like to be able to see something be able to be shown for people's efforts. So obviously you've got, all the NFT collectibles and whatnot that you earn, but it can kind of be a pretty bad feeling, if we're being honest, to get to a certain level, to have a certain amount of work kind of completed and then have that all wiped out. So anyways, it's a necessary evil. It's safe to say there will be at least a reset. And we'll try to be as transparent about that as possible when those are coming up.
Yeah, it's awesome the devs care about our progression and our time in the game. All right, on to the next one. Hey guys, I would like to know if you have planned in the future some interactions between the players and the decorations of our spaces.
Yeah. Gosh, I I think a lot of these questions are probably going to be for me here with the game side. The you know the personal metaverse and kind of creating this home base, if you will, for you to be able to retreat to bring your friends in, to bring the guild mates in. This has been a pinnacle of kind of a real cornerstone of what we've been building with this game. And so I think it's safe to say that if there's anything that you think it would kind of be cool, whether it's a social interaction, whether it's we've talked about, can we set up vendors like player controlled or guild controlled vendors where other folks can come into your personal metaverse and be able to interact with those vendors. We want to do all those things. And so, yes, I think interacting with objects is super cool. And really what it's going to come down to is, are there, we've always got to try to temper what we want to do with technical, potential technical limitations. Also prioritizing it against our production schedule, and kind of, sometimes things just can't always make it in. But I think interactions with items is one of those things that's really going to help that kind of space come alive. And so yes, I think it's safe to say that we'll be looking for things that we can do on that front for sure.
Awesome. Food for thought. Can we please have some kind of gem for healers, as we really don't get up close due to our lack of damage?
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I could speak to. I'll definitely make a note of this and see what we might be able to factor in regarding this. But um, you know, having each character be uniquely I don't fun, engaging to play, supportive of the overall team dynamics. I mean, there's still so much work we have to do with regards to how players support each other and balance each other. The last thing that we want is somebody to feel like they're just kind of disengaged off to the side, mindlessly doing activities to support their team or whatnot. I'll take this as some feedback. Maybe we can, I don't know if we get some answer to this or work on something. We can look for a way to update folks on Discord. But we have a feedback channel on our Discord that we love this stuff. I know sometimes we still work on the feedback loop with responding and letting people know, maybe the results of the feedback. But trust me when I say every single feedback gets entered into our workflow management software. We're constantly reviewing, prioritizing, evaluating that stuff. So if you've got cool ideas for how to enhance the healer class, please post those. And personally, I love to play the fixer. So sounds cool.
Just further illustration that Doug is just like the nicest person in the world. He's just walking around healing people. It's just the general. That's the role you occupy within this iron triangle we have going on. Sorry, that was my contribution.
In Battlefield, I was always the medic paddle guy. Running around. So
reviving people. Oh, dude, he needs a medal, man.
You would always come and survive guys like me who just run straight into it and die immediately and drag the whole team down. This is our symbiotic relationship.
Awesome.
All right. Any official big time event coming up before public release, like a special dungeon or Easter egg? Love this town hall. Great way to gather us all every month for updates and newcomers.
Yeah, that's actually a question too from Merlin, who is part of Export Guild. He's one of the ambassadors too for Big Time. So I do know, Doug I'm sure will add on to this, but we do content releases and upgrades every single patch. When we call it a patch, what we really mean is it's a combination of about almost 10 things. There's UI and upgrades, there's rebalancing, there's content, there's generally some sort of NFT functionality as well. But yes, there's going to be multiple events that and content upgrades. The main one is going to be invite-only beta, which is estimated around late Q2, Q3, thereabouts, but that'll change a lot of stuff inside the game, including how players get access. The crafting component will actually start as well during that time. That's between now and then, that's what we're really kind of building towards is getting to a really awesome invite-only beta, which sets the conditions for the open.
Yeah, and with each of our patches, for those of you who have been with us since, say, Gold, know that this game is very much still a work in progress. These types of games take years to get to the place where a lot of us, when we're getting a game for the first time, would be coming along for the journey at. And so one of the things that's been an important kind of tenet for us in building this product was to get to EAL as quickly as possible, so that everybody could be along for the ride. And one of the risks that, of course, every game company faces when you put something out there for people to start consuming is for folks to start feeling like, oh, is this it? And I probably sound like a broken record when I'm the times I jump on Discord to say, man, the best is yet to come. Like, you need to see all this cool stuff we're doing and building. So every patch that we've put out since Gold, we've been taking steps towards this kind of a finish line of sorts, though there really is never a finish line, but a finish line of saying, hey, we've got the experience, the progression, the content exactly where we want it. So as we progress towards that line, every patch is going to be having some type of content. We're always looking to add new dungeons to interact with, content, everything that we can kind of cram into it. But we're also building a lot of systems and core functionality behind the scenes, which then supports building onto, but it takes time. So you'll see some cool stuff in this patch.
All right, let's get right on to the next one. This is a really cool question that interests me. Hey, I know that Unreal Engine 4 is easier to develop the game right now because it's been set in AMAs. However, Unreal Engine 5 is mainstream now for AAA games. The question is, will you convert the game engine to Unreal Engine 5 after official release, or do you have such plans?
Yeah, I can't. I mean, that's really more a question for our engineering team, but I could tell you that a couple things. Unreal 5 is awesome. It has some incredible features that we are championing at the bit to be able to take advantage of. We also are lucky enough to have two of probably the best Unreal engineers in the industry on our team leading this product. They are going to be looking to use whatever technology is going to be best for this product and for how we do business. And so I think it's safe to say that Unreal 5 is something we're going to be moving to. It's just like what I mentioned before, where man, switching core technology like that comes at a cost. So some of the things we struggle with right now is how does that balance up against our desire to build more content? I mean, because everything is that cost I'm referring to would probably come at the sake of new functionality, balance, content. So we want to find the right time to be able to switch out to things like that. So it has be balanced against our desire to keep putting out stuff and getting to that finish line I talked about.
Yeah, I just think it's incredible how much the graphics have improved in just a couple patches. How many graphical improvements, audio improvements, visual effects. It's just come leaps and bounds so quickly. That's a testament to those engineers and developers that we have.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Big Time, can you give us any insights on mounts? No, that's something the community is really interested in.
Yeah, and speaking of the couple awesome engineers I just mentioned, one of them in particular, this is always something that he is extremely passionate about. Mounts, pets. These are things that we all love in other games as well. Like I've said before, yes, I mean, whatever's going to be fun and create the best experience, we're going to be evaluating. And I think it's safe to say that mounts and certainly pets are things that we're strongly looking at, trying to figure out how and when. If I had to guess, I'd probably say that pets would be before mounts. But the trick with these types of things is just game balance. So as soon as you introduce mounts, you have to start thinking about what does overall player movement look like in terms of speed, right? Because now a mount is not, people want mounts because they want to be able to travel faster, right? So does that change how we've designed some of our zones, our areas? Does it alter a sense of exploration that we might want to curate in terms of, when you're running through an area and you see something off to the side that maybe you didn't notice before, whatever. And so you turn and you kind of go over there and you find something really cool. Hopefully, I mean, these are all experiences that we try to curate in games to just make it fun to want to be in this world. And if you're speeding through an area on a mount, it might take some of that sense of exploration away. So we just need to find out how to do it right and kind of what that looks like. And it's definitely something on our radar.
Yeah, you say you need to be careful because players are going to travel fast. Honestly, I just want to ride around on a T-Rex, man. Dude, you can give me a speed penalty. I just think that would look awesome to take a screenshot on. Okay.
Absolutely.
Also, will you ever be able to do cool things like double jump, climbing, swimming, or gliding?
Yeah, now you're getting into every tester's worst nightmare. Is so all these things deal with character movement and and really are fun to interact with, but can be an absolute nightmare. I say on the test team, it's engineering as well, because it can be really easy in an open world like this to for the unpredictable to suddenly start being opened up, where people can get out of zone, find different exploits. So these are things that have to be really carefully implemented. That list, I think you said double jump and climbing. Double jump, I don't know. It's one of those where I think in games well, anything's possible, right? I'm trying to think that there could be, depending on the environment that we're creating, it could be that a double jump mechanic doesn't really I don't know, make sense with a certain type of lore or something like that we're building. But gliding, I mean, probably a week ago we were just talking about what that might look like. So yeah, those are all cool ideas. Not sure about swimming in terms of what that looks like in our game, but gliding for sure, and any movement mechanics. Will write up some feedback, put it in the Discord channel. We'll take a look at it.
I think the swimming one really resonates with anybody, including myself, who has died in like the toxic pools.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like,
yeah.
oh man, can I just like die slower, and then like, I made a mistake, let me get out of there.
Yeah, it was worse before we took the time to really color them, to try to give some indicator that you should not go in there, because they were a little too inviting when we first made them. So
yeah, especially in the summertime, it's a nice hot day.
yeah.
You'd think with the toxic bubbles coming out of the insectoid hive and like the gigantic, massive skeleton in the middle of it, you'd think that would be, shouldn't go in there, but to each their own, right?
We added those, to dissuade people.
To elude, don't do it. Okay, what's going to happen to the remaining 39% of NFTs that we know will not drop in the game, according to Khaled?
I can jump in and I can answer this, or at least partially answer this one. So we're not going to drop them in the game. We haven't decided yet if we want to give them out as airdrops or kind of keep them undropped, which would almost move them from circulation de facto. But this is something we had to bring up, actually going all the way back to gold, where there were several types of like NFTs that dropped during that time that were like, hey, they will never drop again inside the game. And we are committed to that will not happen. But whether or not they get airdropped or we just kind of don't distribute them is one of the things that's still up in the air on that one.
There we go. Very cool. If I'm eligible for a tier 5 in the airdrop or a T5 in the airdrop, do I get T1 to T5 boxes or just T5 boxes?
If you're eligible for the T5 reward, you only get the T5 reward and not the T15.
Okay, got it. Now we're just speeding through these. What month will tokens drop in the airdrop?
That's kind of more of the on the roadmap of OpenLoot's dev plan, to have more data about the items. Like, for example, I'm sorry. My bad. I was jumping ahead on that one. So we're going to release some more information on that one in a little bit. Most of it has to be synchronized with kind of the future release of invite-only beta and some of the other stuff leading up to it. But we just haven't quite gotten there yet.
Understood. All right, on to the next one. I would like to know when you plan to be fully transparent with the players and set up the details of the actual volume of buying and selling so the community can make up their minds about it. Is it possible to set up an OpenSea style offer to buy a system?
The marketplace is always getting better. So what you're looking at right now is not necessarily what the marketplace is going to look like 6 months or a year from now. It's going to continuously improve. We have discussed things like historical kind of transactions, historical ownership. You can see, hey, item number 1 was owned by this person previously, and seeing all of that. That's for just the inside the game marketplace. For example, if you eventually move it outside the game to OpenSea, you obviously be able to kind of track the ownership history from there as well. But inside of it, we're looking for kind of more data points about what users want, and we'll kind of what they find important inside the game. But yes, we do intend to add more functionality, more history, more historics for each item on the marketplace.
Hey, big time team, here is my question. When can we open our mystery boxes? Smiley face. Looking forward to the AMA. Thanks.
Yeah, so at a minimum, it's going to happen by invite only beta, obviously, because that's when you can start crafting. And so whether or not we kind of lead it up before then, almost like an unwrapping thing on the space, like in a similar effect that we're having with space and using it inside the game, that's kind of where we're at right now. Of do we release a little bit earlier, but kind of no later than invite only beta, because obviously you can start crafting during that time. And again, invite only beta, we're aiming for sometime late Q2, possibly Q3. That's kind of general area we're aiming for right now.
Very cool. Hello to all the team. I have a few questions for you. What do you think I could hang? I think a little bit of a typo here. What do you think I could hang? Do you think I could hang an NFT on my wall of my space to exhibit on my collection? Not exactly sure what they're exactly trying to say here. Can they hang an NFT on their wall? Or when we'll be able to interact with our decorations? I think that's going back to something we answered previous. But do you think we could hang an NFT on our wall of our space?
Yeah, I think that's certainly something that I hate to keep sounding like I'm saying the same thing over and over again, but we have talked about that. We've talked about something in terms of how do we how do we make things as cool as possible, and how do we continue to find ways to reward some of our earliest players, gold, silver, jade. Is there some type of NFT type badge or something that's unique that they can slap on their wall? We've certainly talked about those things and are looking at lots of different options. So yes, decorations will continue to be something that we invest time into, and as I said earlier, look for ways to make them as cool as possible, which kind of means interactions with them.
One of the things that I think Big Time does really well is the entire dev team puts out a minimum version of the product or whatever it is, or that feature, and then grows it from there. And so when we put out things like space a couple months ago, we were like, this is just one theme you can do right now. It's the Evermore. That's not all of them. Like, they're going to keep adding on top of it. And it goes back to what Doug was mentioning before, which is that's just the way these games grow. We're coming up on the 3-year mark for Big Time, and this game is going to keep growing bit by bit every 4 to 6 weeks for patches for probably the next 5 years. And so what you see now in the marketplace for cosmetics, for decorations, is a shadow of what it will be in several years from now, or even months from now. I think the decorations and cosmetics are a great example of that. They're going to keep getting better.
Yeah, and I'm really glad you mentioned that, because that kind of speaks to kind of a core. There's lots of different methodologies that you can take when it comes to really any form of software development. And you hit it right on the head. We have always worked to build something to a minimal viable product state and get it in the hands of the actual players as quickly as possible, because anything, I mean, we've been in the industry a long time. We have a lot of experience to draw from, and we can sit in a room and we can come up with all the things that we think are going to really land the way that we hope, and then be precisely wrong in the end when it goes out. And so it's one of those where we want to take that experience, build what we think is going to really convey the intent and idea, and get it out there, and then get all that feedback on it, and refine it and build it and grow it. And again, this speaks back to why we're deciding to do early access in the first place. We could have been closed off all this time and been like a lot of other sites that I know we've all seen, where it's like, hey, coming soon, it's going to be the best thing ever. And I remember seeing a site a while ago where you're looking at the team going, what experience do these guys have? And of course, they've got a token up for sale, and you're just kind of left going like, I don't know. So I hope everybody listening to this understands that we are massively passionate about games and development and building this amazing product. And that's what we're doing. And we believe that getting each piece of it out as early as possible, even though it runs the risk of being maybe falsely perceived as though this is it, that's going to get us the feedback we need to really build it the best we can. So.
And the community is growing with the game. I think that's always something to
Yeah,
remember.
yeah,
Yeah,
great
we're
point.
here from the baby steps. All right. Do you think you will add content for dungeons for the highest levels? I am a rank 56, level 56, and I ride all of the dungeons with great ease. I would like to know if you would like to add dungeons or DJs for the highest players among us.
Yeah, that's always funny because I can't tell you how many times you know, you put out something with a certain expectation and folks just blow right through it because they have all these really creative combos and you know, team dynamics that just make short work of what we build. We learn a lot from metrics that we collect behind the scene, or analytics, I should say, that we collect behind the scenes on interactions, and are always going to be looking to create kind of something that's a challenging experience that hopefully balances on that line of not being incredibly frustrating, um, but you know, and also fine tuning the rewards so that when you do accomplish something that's difficult, that you feel like you've really been rewarded appropriately for your time and amazing skills. So.
I'm over here struggling to 1v1 a blight. You guys are talking about, level 56 is up in
Yeah.
here.
To
Yeah.
that user that asked it, I just want to point out you're in the top 1% of players.
Yeah.
I don't know how specific I can be without getting a lumping on the head from somebody, but you're in the top 1%, and so congratulations to you for all that grinding. That's insane. Congrats.
As far as the game is concerned, do you have a release date for the story? Because for the last year, we have no idea what you want to do with the game. It would be great to have some information.
Yeah, I wish I had something for you at this point I could share. I think that story or a sense of narrative that helps fuel the the desire to kind of I'll use the words like get to the next level, right? Is that story can be a very powerful motivator, and also when I talk about kind of creating this sense of exploration, it can bring people along for a ride, and heck, just quick kind of shout out to how amazing Last of Us is, which is one of my favorite all-time games. It's neat to see it in live action now, by the way, but what an amazing that team is just an amazing set of storytellers and can capture so much emotion in a game. I wish we could be on that level. I think what you'll find is that we understand story. We understand how it plays into games. We want to find how we can put it into a game of this type that is massively multiplayer, where people are going to be at different stages, you know, throughout. How you know, what does that look like in our game? And we're still working to working. We've defined a lot of things and had a lot of discussions, but when I say working on it, it's something where it's not at a state yet where I'd feel comfortable really telling you kind of where it's at in terms of what the final verdict on our decisions are.
In a similar
there will
vein,
be
though,
something.
yeah, in a similar vein, though, I remember when I first got to big time, I read kind of the, I think, 80-page document on the lore and how we kind of stitch together the multiple time frames. So there's always been this vision that the engineers and the developers have had, like, in the back of their mind as they add on things like more dungeons or the overworld area. And that was extremely impressive to me about how it all kind of like corresponded to seasons, which now will kind of like align with like our crafting. So there is a general architecture that we're following, and it adds into the storyline. But just that kind of timing aspect, I think, is the main thing for us right now.
Yeah, that's a great reminder. Yeah, that 80-page thing you were talking, that's like a drop in the bucket for all the content we've got. Just troves of lore and backstory and stuff that we've been working on. It's great.
So the consensus is eventually.
Yeah,
and just finding the right way to express it that works within our game is what I was trying to say.
Yeah,
understood. When will the max players per server? What will the max players per server in full release be? 100 per server would mean 400 servers to support 200,000 players if 20% play at the same time.
Yeah, that's again probably something when we get one of our lead engineers into one of these streams, those are some great questions, and they'd love to answer those. It's safe to say that we want to get as many players as we can into the world at one time to create the most interactive, expansive feeling, while still maintaining the best experience that we can in terms of any latency or a server load that may cause. So it's something that we're continuing to find out what that number is, but I'm not sure exactly what that will be yet.
When pets and when mounts, when box opening day, when shield NFTs. I think we got the first two out of the way, but when shield NFTs.
Oh man, shield NFTs, yeah. So we have discussed about every type of cosmetic that you could imagine. In fact, I think some that are going to be a pleasant surprise that you may even see some of in this upcoming patch. That's going to be really exciting in terms of you'd be amazed how nuanced we can get when it comes to finding every little way that you can be unique and add on, with really cool cosmetics. So shields are something we've been talking a lot about, especially as to not just in terms of their appearance, but just building on the existing mechanics to make them how those fit into the actual combat, and maybe different manners that make them more interactive. So soon, I guess.
Soon. There we go.
So Doug, just following up on that, did you see my request to have a cosmetic with Zach Rice's face on a
No one would want that.
That's
on a chest piece? That's going to be a 1 of 1, and just go ahead and send that to my account.
There you go. I wouldn't want to curse anyone with that. That's horrible. Is Big Time still planning to launch a questing and storyline experience? I think we already really covered that just a couple questions ago. Yeah. Move on to the next one. When will we get stairs in our space? This is a cool one.
Yeah, I hope I don't, paint the engineering team into a corner, so to speak, by saying yes. I mean, I think that we want space to go vertical and find really cool ways to do that. There are some technical concerns with implementing that, but it is something that we would be very eager to put in. And so if it turns out that we can't create the verticality that we would really hope for in space, there would be really good reasons for it, because that is super cool. So we'll yeah.
Doug, I have my own question on this one. So in a similar vein, if you get a space, does it always need to be inside of a room? Or can there be some sort of outside perspective to it, like a yard or a garden or something?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's something that when I talk about getting something out and collecting feedback, that was something that we heard loud and clear, was how big can there be more of a sense of expanse kind of in space, And so we've been talking about some different ways to be able to make something like that possible and work. And by work, I want to be clear that if you create a space that's so expansive that you have to run for 5 minutes to go to the object that you want to interact with or something, even if you implement some type of control mechanism that lets you shortcut that running experience, then it also kind of cuts the legs out from underneath this whole idea of this thing, because then you're going to be going in and interacting with a control panel. So I keep using the word balance, but it's about how do we create kind of this sense of expanse, this sense of openness, this sense of customization, while still keeping in mind the purpose of the space. So yeah, Cool. I think there's something cool that we might be implementing pretty soon that is, I think people would really enjoy. That's probably a little bit of an in-between for the time being.
You're getting me excited, man. Yeah. Oh my gosh. You hear that, everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. What can you tell us about any plans for character customization or updated character models?
Oh, that's a great question. So character models in particular are in any game that has so many options for customization. They can be there's just a lot of work involved in putting those things together. So we've kind of got a kind of a core model that of course everybody's very familiar with as they've been playing the game, but probably. Hey, take this with a little bit of a grain of salt, so to speak, in terms of like production schedules change and whatnot. But introducing a female character right there at the top of the list, getting some type of what the customization will look like, I can't quite speak to, but I mean, just in terms of it still being figured out, but probably, again, safe to say that there'll be some options that in combination with each other, you know, when you get different face models and things like that, combined with different other aesthetic kind of options can create so many unique combinations that people will feel like they can kind of create their own avatar that really speaks to them. I don't believe I don't know that we'll go as advanced as say some of these that give you I mean to raise up eyebrows and do all these things. I think we'll probably find some balance that lets us feel like we can adjust skin tone, gender, and some options of other aesthetics in between that make you feel like you've got something that's uniquely yours.
That's very cool. And of course, in Big Time, it's all about customizing and expressing yourself, and that's a testament to our community.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, I think this is our last question, and then we'll move on to some sneak peeks. Okay, do Big Time devs have any experience from other MMORPGs, or is this the first they've worked on? I guess this is a two-parter. Do you play any other popular MMOs like World of Warcraft and Elder Scrolls Online?
Yeah, great question. I love this stuff because I mean, this is the stuff this is why we do what we do, and we're all huge gamers. So to answer the first question, yes, our team has tremendous experience throughout the game industry on all sorts of products. Absolutely, there's been a lot of MMO work throughout the team. I can't speak for others, but just for myself, my background, I was heavily involved in Ultima Online. I've worked on The Sims. There's an old game, Earth and Beyond. I don't know, maybe dating myself, but Earth and Beyond was one of my first MMOs. So we love the genre. We play these games all the time, and have a lot of experience with it. So it might be fun to kind of have our kind of dev team answer some questions now and then, and maybe post the results out to Discord or something like that to get a little better insight into what they're into. But on a personal level, I have found it hard to break away. I am a complete Destiny nut and addict. It speaks to me. I love sci-fi stuff, and so usually if you pick a random night at 12:30 a.m., I'm probably on Destiny, but I take breaks to play everything else. Currently, God of War in the background. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you could say that the devs are gamers too. So don't think they're far off. They are in the boat with us, guys. But okay, the time has come. I think it's time to move on to some sneak peeks, and I think everyone's very much looking forward to this. I think it's going to be in the order that I'm seeing it. I'm going to be checking the stream, but I think we're going to move on to our first sneak peek or teaser for 0.25. So I think we're going to get right into it, put it on screen. Super excited. I'm going to try and time it because there's a little bit of a delay. So I don't know if it's on screen just yet. I'm going to refresh. It's up. Okay. There we go. It's going to be, I think, that's our Egyptian theme. Do you guys want to, Doug, do you have anything to speak upon it?
Just that I'm constantly amazed with our art team. They create such cool content and environments. I think that there is a particular room at the end of this tile set that is just it really kind of encapsulates kind of what we're trying to build with regards to just these awesome kind of dungeons that you can feel a sense of kind of crawling through. And we've got so many more planned. So hopefully you guys can see the attention to detail in a lot of the art that's been put into this.
I'm so excited, dude. Oh, that's going to be so much fun. I can't wait for Blights, Mega Clockies, and the sort to be chasing me through those catacombs. That's going to be just incredible. All right, I think we're going to move on to our next sneak peek for you guys. This is a little bit more of a technical gameplay sneak peek. This is a screenshot, I believe, of the new Pocket Watch, I believe. Are we going to be showing the Pocket Watch one? I believe, yes. Okay, the Pocket Watch. It's in the inventory. So if I get this correct, in adventures, when you're inside, you're not able to see your own stats. Now, I believe in upcoming in patch 0.25, you will now be able to see all your stats inside of the adventure, which that is very cool. That's just a very nice, convenient change. Look at it. Observe its greatness.
Yeah, I think it's cool to it's something that how we find different ways to utilize equipment and build kind of all the stat building is a real core mechanic. And so being able to see that and see what effect different equipment's having on your character is again really key. So
very cool. All right, now something that I think is probably one of the most highly anticipated things coming. I think we're going to shout. I'm going to try and time it perfectly. But man, Doug, I'm going to just hand this to you, man. I think you need to speak on that, dude. I
can't see the current stream, so I'm flying a little bit blind here. So, Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah. So, gosh, how much can I speak towards this? We have been working in this patch to really, every great game has an introduction. It has a kind of a more of a guided, or I'll say curated kind of experience that introduces the player to the world, to various mechanics. And so what you'll see is some really cool new areas that have some features in them that will really kind of be that introduction to the game. And we'll continue to refine and build this out. But it's these are the first impressions. And so as we continue to evolve the game, we want to make sure that players feel like within hopefully a very short amount of time, they can really see what this game's all about and want to run out and explore the rest of it.
And I think on to our last and final screenshot. I really think this is the bombshell. I think a lot of players are just going to be absolutely ecstatic as soon as they see this. It is going to be the new inventory with all the new features. Oh my gosh, Doug, what do you want to say to this, man?
Yeah. Again, just more of that evolution. I mean, we want to continue to build out functionality. A lot of the stuff, if it's missing, if there's ever something that you're interacting with in the game and you feel like, gosh, if we could just get this. First, certainly, like I said before, post it and feedback. But second, chances are we've probably thought about it and are most likely going to do it. It's just a question of when. So hopefully with every content or every patch, you're going to see a variety of improvements. And UI UX is one of those. And so, lots of cool stuff coming.
I'm getting a little bit older, but I got to squint my eyes a little bit. What's that in the top left right there? That's an interesting looking icon. I wonder what that could be. I guess you may have to just play the new patch to find out, but it's an interesting patch. Interesting item up there.
I could just feel like hundreds of people all taking screenshots collectively at the same time to go and post it on Twitter. That's what I feel right now. But oh my gosh, guys, look at all this new stuff. I'm just ecstatic to be able to get in, try it for myself along with all of you wonderful people. That's our final sneak peek. Guys, this was insane. This was a lot of stuff. And I'm so excited to be doing these town halls with you guys every single month. Awesome. And guys, I really think we have climbed the mountaintops, gotten all your questions answered, and I think that's all the questions we have time for today. And I'm so glad we got to go through the bulk of your questions. Thank you everyone for writing on Twitter. Thank you Doug and Matt for taking the time, and of course the community writing in. And gosh, guys, I am looking forward to next month. And thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you, everybody.